Okay. Turn this music down a little bit. Okay. Hello. How's it going? Hello, Nance6. I don't even know if you're still here. That was a few minutes ago. You said you had to get going, but as you can see, I have. Oh no, I messed this up. Oh no. Did I bork it? I kind of borked it, but I kind of unborked it at the same time. So it might be fine. As we can see, I have text now. That's this right here. It shows what I'm working on. So hopefully that'll be useful. This, as you can see, this is not, in fact, this is not the code for Tales of Andrin. This is actually the code for something totally different. A game jam project I worked on, actually. Well, this is not even that, to be honest. This is part of that. But what we're starting with is, in fact, the system used for controls. And that is not here, apparently. Which is where I thought that was. So now I look awkward. Maybe we're looking in the wrong place. I think we need to be project. Is this it? Surely this isn't it, right? And I'm worried the code I'm looking for is actually not here. It might be only on my laptop, which would be annoying. That would be annoying. But manageable. No, this is not it either. Dang it. Okay. I really don't want to write this from scratch if I have it. Say hello to the cat. Okay, I think I have data or the code I'm looking for on my laptop, so I just need to quickly move it over really quickly. And then we're good. So what I'm looking for is I actually have a control input system. I just might have to edit it a little bit, but if you ask me, it's better to edit it than rewrite it from scratch, you know. Don't need that, don't need that. I do, however, need to do this. Had I realized this was not here already, I would have done this already, but we did a little bit of an oopsie, you see. Okay, let's do this. Now it's launching. Very annoying, I must say. This is even good. Why is I don't like how this is here. I don't know what this is. Click, click, go with the coding keys. Pretty much. Have you heard this keyboard? Listen. I love this keyboard. I don't know how it sounds on the stream. It might actually be really bad, but okay, so I'm just gonna open this up here. Copy some code. I don't know if you just got here and are just now hearing this, but I forgot that well, I confused myself, and something that I thought I had on my desktop, I did not. It is in fact on my laptop, so I have to move it over really quick. Which is that control input system. I actually have most of it already built and functional, so I'm just going to port it over and then make some edits to it. And the reason we need a control input system, by the way, it's to handle inputs from a keyboard as well as from like a USB gamepad. So it can go either way. And then apparently I heard that if you make games that have controller support, a lot of people with physical disabilities, they have special devices that they can map to USB gamepads and still play your game, even if there's maybe they're missing a hand or something. They could have other options for that. Okay, so need to grab controller. Inputs. And now this mess of global variables, right? Beautiful. Okay. Just gonna copy that really quick. We're almost done, I swear. I swear. We do, however, need to open GitHub really quick. Because in about 40 seconds, once I have this saved, we are going to need to open it up here. Okay, new script. That's the mouse, not my trackpad. Okay. Save all that. Okay. I'm not going to shut that till I'm confident that it's done. Okay, so now we can fetch this. Yes, okay, good. New, pull here. Okay, great. Now we should be able to open this up, and I should be there. It should be here under scripts. Aha, here it is. It works. Okay, get rid of this laptop. Okay, back to it. So what this is basically a way to combine keyboard and controller stuff into one thing. So it's one big function called input, and then it has buttons. Now, I'll be honest. I could probably do this better than it currently is. But as of now, this is how it is, and we're gonna go with it for now until we decide we need to change it. So, what we have here is a bunch of options, basically, that we're giving ourselves to put in for inputs. So, if I say, like in my code later, I want to check to see if the player is pressing and holding right. I will just put it in my code. I will literally type it in exactly like this. I'll say if input right const, meaning right continuous, then move right. That's what it would do. Pretty straightforward. Now, the way this works is when we check for this, when we put this in our code, it's going to come here. It's going to say, okay, the thing we're putting in for the button is right continuous. So we're going to look here. First, we're going to say if there is no gamepad connected, meaning there's no controller plugged in, we're going to say, okay, what do we have here? We have right continuous. Okay, we're going to check. Now this is the actual code that is built in that checks for inputs. So it's going to say, okay, we're going to see if the right key is being pressed, and then return that value. So that comes back to this, wherever that we have this written in our code elsewhere, and says yes or no, the right key is being pressed. Excuse me. Now, ignore that. If the gamepad is connected, then instead of that, we're going to look here, because we're checking with the gamepad instead. It's going to say, it's going to return a value. It's actually checking to see how far we're pressing right on the left. Okay, so that would be looking at left stick. Left stick, horizontal axis. This is actually, I believe these are measured between -1, 0, -1, 0, +1. So if this is at 0 or +1, it's between there. So basically it's going to check if you are pushing it at least, I guess it's at least halfway is what I have it. I think. Well, this is clamped. It's not actually rounded. So yeah, I guess what this is actually doing is this is at 0 and this is at like some arbitrary value. I'm not fully sure about that actually. Either way, I know this works because I've tried it before. And we can check if this works as is without changing a thing. Get rid of this. By just actually using this. So we do not want to, for menuing, I should clarify. For menuing, we do not actually want to check if it's being held down. Not yet anyway. We can implement that later if we want. But we just want to check if it's being pressed at all. So we have a separate set of code for the right stick. But the basic right, up, left, and down are going to be for they're going to be for the left stick, which is the same as we would use here for the arrow keys. The way this is currently written if I want to check for right, it'll check on the keyboard. It'll check for arrow keys or D. So that it'll check for WASD as well. So now I need to grab. Where's my plug? I lost my plug. Well, this is mighty embarrassing. Where did I put that? Hold on, I know where it is. Enjoy the cat. Sorry about that. I found it. This is, I don't know why these are separate, but here's the cord for the gamepad, and this is like the USB bit, and for some reason they're like separate, so I have to put them together. Okay, so now we can plug this into the USB port. Okay, oh wow, rumble. Okay, so that's alive. All we have to do now is go to our menuing system. Go to the title menu. No, not the title menu. We want combat menu. Okay, so right now we're checking for like up key, down key. What we actually want it to do now is we're gonna just change these to do all these actually. I'm gonna leave them as they are, but we're gonna reassign them immediately. So we're gonna change to input up. Why is it like that? I don't know why I can't do that in single quotes. It's super annoying, actually. This music is so intense for this. The down key will be down. The accept key will be enter, which will be the enter key, and it will also be, I believe it's the A button. Yeah. So A button on a 360 controller. And then do we have it back? We don't. That's annoying. So if we have a, we really have it back here actually. Let's do this really quick. So we want back, we want that to be the backspace key. And then we also want the B button. That's with the B button to be back. Okay. Easy enough. Step key will be enter, enter, and the back key will be back. Okay, so now what should happen, will this work first try? Who's to say? What should happen is now that I have the controller plugged in, it should only work with a controller. The keyboard should not work. Oh, we broke something. We have macros already defined elsewhere. Oopsies. So up is 0, right is 1, down is 2, left is 3. Okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna... Okay, so now what should happen is this should work with the controller. Let's see if it... Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Should be the stick. Hey, it works. Okay. Now the keyboard should not work. Okay, good. That's good. Now if we hit A for attacks... Oh. Okay, so we found a glitch, which is that... as you can see, if you press the button, it doesn't just click it once. It thinks you're, like it's checking every frame if the button is pressed down or not. So, we've learned something. Okay, I need to quickly do a thing real quick. Oops. Alright, anyway, so we need to go back to the input manager. So this is checking if the keyboard is pressed. I guess we really don't want, this music's kind of loud. That's probably better? Is that better? I'm going to assume that's better. So we don't actually want this, in this case, to... we don't want the value. We just want to check it. Oh, this is... Wait. This function, you get the current value of the analog. True or false when we're not giving I think we want... Oh yeah, here we go. We want to check pressed. So we want gamepad button value for enter. Gamepad button value, we want check press. This is just going to check if we press it a single time. So now this should only let us do it once. And like that's the default, right? We don't want it to default to thinking we're holding down menu buttons, right? So we do. Okay, great. That worked. So now if I hold it down, it doesn't spam back and forth. It just toggles, which is great. Then if I just press the new accent, I should just be able to press B once and it should do the same thing. Okay. What? Wait, what happened? Come on, let me try that again. Oh, you know what? I think I know what happened. Well, yeah, something's wrong with our menu system. It's freaking out. Huh, I didn't realize this is here. Well, this should do this. Yeah, okay, there's no good. This can actually go away. I don't know. It's true. So, I think we have a manual keyboard check somewhere. Okay, that's the menuing. So if I click the back key, the menu should be set to 0. That does not seem complicated to me. The issue is it's when we're going back to... Oh, I know what's happening. Okay, so here's what's happening. Is I have a hovered menu, or I have a hovered selection, right? Like say I'm hovering... I know what's happening. So let's say we have our menu open. In a moment, you will see it. Okay, so like right now, the way it is just stored in memory is that it's indexed from 0, meaning if I'm hovering the first item, it thinks that's 0. If I'm indexing the second item, it thinks that's 1, etc. So that's whatever. So if I go to here, wait, that actually doesn't make sense. I take it back. That can't be the problem, because otherwise that would work. Okay, just kidding. Okay. Yeah, so that's why it's saying this. The index is out of range, because 4 is actually number 5, and there's only 4 total. So let's see. If the menu level is 0, the text equals options menu level. Okay. So it's struggling to rewrite the options. So where's menu level 0? Where's our if? Where did it? Line 15. There's nothing on line 15. What are you talking about? Oh. Here, line 15. So if the menu level is 0, the text equals option. What is option? So menu level, okay, this should only ever happen if menu level equals 0. So menu level dot I option length So for some reason, this is looping longer than it should. So we could ignore this, right? Or sorry, we could ignore this because the problem is only happening when menu level is 0. Oh, you know what? We're probably not resetting option length. So that's what I'm worried about, actually. So where's... Well, this should be resetting properly then, too. I don't even know what this is. I remember I used this from a default setting earlier. SML. Selected menu level. I'm confused why this is breaking. So it should be fine, right? Because it should be saying if the menu level is this is actually annoying. It's saying if the menu level is 0, the text is going to equal one of these things. And then it's going to write that text. That's fine. The issue is it thinks the option length is different than it actually is. For some reason. Sorry, I got distracted by this, which I have to fix later as well, I suppose. So this is saying, for whatever reason, it thinks the option length is 5. But it's actually 4. So what should happen is it should say option menu level equals, we'll loop through this, so it'll be 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. And that's all 4 of our options. This should only work while this is, so I equals 0. Hold on. Let me see if this is randomly weird and something to do just with the controller, which it would make 0 sense to me. But so if I try and go back with the backspace instead of hitting the actual back button, okay, the same problem happens. So it's not the controller. Okay, so for whatever reason, what's happening is so case 0, this is our back. It's our back arrow. And it sets the menu button to 0. Really what I want is for pressing this key to also okay, this line of code right here is for some reason not working. I just pull this out, put this right here, will it work? I'm unsure. Maybe it shall, maybe it shan't. Okay, that works. We fixed it, fam. Okay, and this also works if we actually go and, like, begin to select a target, we can go back. Actually, we can't because that is managed elsewhere. That is managed here with our combat manager. And these needs to be these need to be the same thing here. Now that should work. The reason that didn't work like that is because the actual the code that runs the menu, like this right here, is different than the code that runs the actual targeting once we select what our item is. Okay, so attacks, bite, okay, this works. And then, it all works. Okay, that's interesting. I just tried to go into Roy's inventory and it broke. I again want to see if that was a thing that was happening with just the keyboard. Wait. Okay, we're in a bit of a pickle here. We need this to work up here, but we also need it to be down here because this could change. The menu level could change at any point, either up here or down here. And that's not good. I mean, it's fine. It's really more annoying than anything else. But, okay, so it's fine. We just do this. Now it should be able to work either way. And Roy's inventory should not break. Now if we try and open Roy's inventory, okay, does not crash. Great. Okay, we fixed it. Okay, well, to be honest, excuse me, I should really drink some tea to try and deal with some of this phlegm. Melt it down or something. Wow, that tea is cold. I need to go microwave that real quick. Now, this all works. It's really just down to adding names for buttons or, like, deciding what buttons are going to do what and calling them the right things and setting them to be pressed or checked or whatever. And that'll be fine, I think. I think we should have the default to be checking if a button is pressed and then have a secondary thing. So instead of saying left trigger pressed, we should say left trigger. And then we should have a secondary one, right? That says, excuse me, it says held, and then this would just do like that, and then this would say nothing, right? Like do that. That's probably the thing to do. And these are serial values or analog values, as opposed to just a digital yes or no. Trigger click pressed. What does that even mean? Oh, it's a shoulder button. Why not just say shoulder? I don't know what I was on. I don't even have a right trigger on here, actually. Huh. Anyways. So we can change this as it becomes necessary, but that's the core of how it works. And we can also, in the event that we don't have a good way to have the keyboard thing named the same thing as the what am I trying to say? As the gamepad thing. It's really not that hard. We can always just say, like, the back key. In this scenario, we're calling it the back key. Like, it could be input back. Wait a minute. No, that doesn't make sense. Can you do or? Yeah, you can just do a basic log. I think you can just do a binary logic. You can do input back or input you know, whatever it is. If it's the A key, for example. And then does that work actually? Is that what it's called? Is it capital A? It's capital A. Like, if we do that, then I think pressing the A key does the same thing as pressing the back key. It's going to crash immediately if not. As soon as the menu comes up. Well, it didn't crash immediately. Okay, so we hit that, we hit back space, like the backspace key. Then we hit the A key. Yeah, okay, so you can do that. Then you can have one thing represent either thing happening. And it's all Gucci. So that's easy enough if we need to do that. Okay, and that is the first thing I wanted to get done today. So look at that. Look how easy that was. We'll move that into the done, and then next we will work on. Do we want? I mean, I really need to get working on the dialogue system. I really need to stop putting it off. But critical hits would be really easy. So let's save the critical hits then. We'll save critical hits for when we need a big win. When we're feeling like we really just need a success going on, you know. So for right now, I am going to. I need to add a new column actually. Add a new column, which is like we'll make it pink, I guess. We'll make it soft completed. So this, like, by this I mean we might need to make edits to it later, but for now it's fine. This is also soft completed. I didn't want to put this as done because as we're working on combat, we're adding variables that each entity needs to have in order to make sure they all have them. So we're going to leave that in soft completed as well. Okay, right now we're going to move build the dialog system into in progress. This is going to end up breaking down into more things that go on this to-do list. But that's how I need to start right now. I am, however, going to, before we work on the dialogue system, take 2 minutes to, maybe more longer than 2 minutes, I don't know, to run to the bathroom and heat up my tea. So I will be back in a bit. so I switched. Sorry, that was so loud. I went ahead and turned on some noise suppression, so hopefully you can not hear my computer as loudly. To be honest, it already looks better, so I'm going to optimistically say that it worked. Okay, objects. This is a different project. This is a project where I played around with some stuff to try and see how some stuff worked. No. There's test room 2. Okay, there's supposed to be. None of this is working. What I need is the bit of code that made me talk to people. Here's my test NPC. My objects. There are no NPCs on here. Okay. Okay, well maybe let's just start from the beginning on this then. So I don't even know if we're going to be writing code for this today. We are going to instead. Well, I'm going to start with this. I need to figure out what the system needs to look like, right? And I look very pale, but that's okay. I need to figure out what the system is even going to look like, okay? So, what we want, right, is a standardized system for us to be able to input text, but like a dialogue tree, and then we need the game to be able to A, know how to interpret that, and B, know how to provide options and stuff. So yeah. I have an important phone call I have to make very quickly to help my mother with something. So yet again, I will be back so quickly. All right, hi. Sorry, I needed to help my mother with something, and what kind of son doesn't help their mother when she needs help? Okay, so we were talking about designing the dialogue system, basically. So what we need from the dialogue system is a couple things. First, we need it to actually hold on. How do we want it? Sure. Okay. So we need it. We want to give it this. I'm just gonna call it a. I'm gonna call it. I cannot type. Is that even spelled right? We want to give it the dialogue data. That's terrible. Sure. I'm gonna give the dialogue data. It needs to take that dialogue data and basically construct the entire dialogue. It needs to be able to take that dialogue data, which is ideal. Actually, let me go back here. This is ideally just going to be JSON would actually be ideal. We actually just would much prefer this be a JSON. Okay. Then we want it to basically construct the dialogue object using it. So we want to okay. Dialogue object, of course, meaning dialogue object, of course, means we have our I don't know why I'm trying to make this into a separate thing. That is going to include NPC. Oops. NPC's text. Response options, response text, our text, C's text, response options, how do I reduce the size of this font? Okay. So this is all the stuff that it needs to actually be able to produce, right? Out of just a big dialogue JSON. Okay, so really what we need to do, we need to start by figuring out if Game Maker Studio can even interact with JSONs. Okay, so it looks like it's a thing. watch a video right now. How long are these videos?
Hello everyone, this is Sam Space. Hello everyone, this is Sam Space. Hello everyone, this is a second tutorial on Jason.
Okay, can I just read it? I'd rather read it. Ah, this is what I wanted. This function can be used to parse JSON. Can be used to parse a JSON string, either previously created using JSON stringify, or from any valid source, and convert it to a collection of arrays or structs, where an array is the equivalent of a JSON array and a struct is the equivalent of a JSON object. You supply the string to parse, and the function will return the top level array or struct, which can then be used in your code. If you're not sure of the contents of the code, you can use the different variable functions like type of and variable struct get names. In case of a struct, to check the return contents, to note that trying to parse an invalid value will throw an exception error. When using this function, there are some important things to note. If the supplied JSON string includes undefined as a value for any property, it will be converted to pointer null upon being parsed. Okay. This function only allows you to load JSON files with a maximum nesting limit of 128. Okay. I don't think we're going to be nesting that much. Seems unlikely. Okay, yeah. Backslash before double quote, so it's right as a character. If you are loading JSON from an external file, however, there is no need to escape characters in the file. In doing so may result in errors when parsing. Okay, makes sense. The above code will parse the given JSON string, generating the following console output. Okay, so what I'm hearing is we are going to be setting ourselves up so we can just in Game Maker. Oh, I have two of these open. I don't know what that is. We're going to be able to basically just have a giant script that is basically just a text file full of well, we don't even need to store text there, because then if we do it this way, we're passing in the JSON. We can just actually import the text. Like, put the text in the individual objects that want to call it, instead of putting it all in a localized spot. That sounds like a freaking headache. Actually, no, that doesn't sound like a headache. Hold on, let me think about that for a second. What we could do is have a script, which is, we're going to use it basically like a text file. Actually, are they any closer to a text file? Note, I guess. Well, in this, we use it as a script. And we would just have a bunch of variables that are, you know, this is dialogue number 1, this is dialogue ID this, dialogue ID that. And then set those up in a bit more of a readable way here. In one, not here, but like in just one localized spot. And then if we go to something that produces dialogue, we just say, okay, we're going to call dialogue ID X. And then it calls it. And then if we want to go read what that dialogue says, we can do so, but like, might be easier to have all dialogue in one spot, because like when you're actually looking at the code, you don't really care what the dialogue says. I feel like. Okay, so we gotta figure out how we even want to build this JSON. How about, okay, I have an idea. Just as a place to start, let's start with some example dialogue. Okay, actually, I don't know what I'm doing. I actually have existing example dialog already. I gotta find some different music, man. Oh. Okay. This is some example script. This is also like how it would look when we're into some back end secrets. This is how it's going to look when we're passing off to writers and voice actors, or something like this. Like, I want to see it really quick if I can find it. Creator. Copyright free and DMCA safe, lo-fi and chill pop music for YouTube. Okay, great. Let's get some more chill vibes in here. Click shuffle. Great. Okay. Sorry, that was distracting. Okay. So here's an example script. That's fine. We'll go with this. This is fine. This is some example. So, question is, how are we going to put this into a JSON? I imagine it honestly looks pretty similar to how that looks now, right? We'll just say I mean, really, we're just gonna kind of nest it as is. So we're gonna say we'll have some data like the name or the display name of the speaker. Okay, this is just for listening. So I keep starting to say things and then not finishing it, so it's probably very difficult to listen to me speak right now. Okay. So this is just some stuff that does not matter for this. So let's just like write down an example bit. Actually, let me try to get the syntax right. Example. Okay, here's some example JSON, which we're going to put here exactly. Oh my. This was not the plan at all. Okay, let's do a couple things here. First of all, we do black text. Second of all, no highlighting. Third of all, why would this be times one? Arial, thank you. And lastly, let's put your font size to 8. Okay. Okay, 100%. Great. Okay, this works now. That was so hard. Okay. So the first thing we would want is let's get rid of all these backspaces or backslashes. First bit of data we were going to want is, I suppose, who's talking? No, that doesn't make sense. Because with each, we want each. Golly, this is so complicated for no reason. Okay, actually, you know what? Before we decide how we want to build the JSON, we should decide What information is actually important at any given moment in the dialogue? What is important at any given moment in the dialogue? We want to know the text. We want to know the speaker. We want to know the response options. And then we want to know what? What do we want to know? We want to know where those responses go. Or really that just pushes us further into the nest. So that's okay. We can work backwards from there. That's it, right? That's all we need to know at any given moment when there's text displayed. That's what we need to know. Oh, sleepy kitty. Okay. So we need to know that. So let's back up here. Here's our big old fat JSON. Okay. Let's put this down a bit. Okay. So let's start with the deepest option we have is these four. Okay, so this is the deepest point. At this point, deepest point we have, okay? Okay. Oh, we actually sponge. Good. We want to know the response options. And then we want to know, where's the keybind for this? Where's the keybind? We want to know if there are any response options as well. Okay, so that means for this very deepest point, any of these are the same depth actually. Let's just say north. We'll go with the north one. Doesn't matter. Okay, we need to know first that the text, well, technically it'll be text equals this. Okay, what do we need to know aside from that? We need to know we need to know the speaker, which in this case would be Baldock. Okay, great. Speaker is Baldock. We need to know respondable or not, false, and we need to know response options. An empty array. Okay. That is our lowest point. Lowest nested point here. This would be, along with four more of them, well, three more of them. We'll get to those in a minute. This would be inside of an array. options. The first one is going to be named North, and that is the option. So the name for it will also be the text for it, because it doesn't actually matter. The order will just be the order that we put them in, assuming the order even matters, which it could. So now this could also have a West, where the speaker is... Actually, all of this is the same except for the text that is in response. Right? So we can just do it like this, copy it. But the text is going to say... Nice river, right? And that's it. Then we'll go ahead and do the same thing for these last two, because I want to use this as an example. And we can space these like this. That's okay. We're allowed to do that, because that's it. So, that's great. Maybe we should all these other things ahead of the text. It doesn't actually matter. I don't care. Okay, so all that is nested in the responses option, the response options for this answer. So we have another thing here, which is going to say what this is going to say. The response is going to be I'm from Arkansas. Which means, by the way, this is also in the response options for a different thing. Can I tab this? Oh, wow, nice. Okay, I thought that was going to work. That's great. Okay. I'm from Merkenstead is the option. It says the speaker is... Speaker is Aaron. The text is oh, I'm from the capital, Merkenstead. That's the text. Respondable. Respondable is going to be true. so that's pretty much what. Okay, all this needs to be smaller, I think. Actually, this can go away. Get out of here. So now we have all the way down to I'm from Bergenstein. We don't have this other stuff yet. Those are going to be the next options in this section. Text will be slightly edit the way this is going to look, but okay, and then the options for this are going to simply be OIC. I should just there we go. So much more space. Beautiful. Just beautiful. So the option is to be I just realized I messed something up. Okay, yes, I forgot that for this bit here, we also needed to know if there's a flag that needs to be set. I guess it's exactly this stuff here. I should have been looking over here. Okay, and I feel like the best way we're gonna do these flags is to actually have them set with the NPC, which means we need to also know the NPC ID, basically. Which means all this also needs to include within it a flag ID, which could be an empty string, and a flag value, which would be just say 0 unless we give it something else. That between text and respondable. I'm not making this harder than it needs to be, but I feel like it's gonna start making sense before too long. It's my eyes itch. Do not know why. Okay, so we need to do Now, this respondable tag, by the way, means that the player can choose options to respond to. It's going to be false because this is just the NPC automatically responding to this option. And it's the end of the line. It's the end of the dialogue. So, we need this one to say speaker is going to be Valduk. The text is I see. Flag ID will be refuse to sell potions. Flag value will be 1. Actually, these should really be Boolean. That being said, this this is a weekly type system, so you can, in fact, if you want to, you can just change it to a number. So if we need to, we can do that. I don't know if we want to, but we could. And then the response options are an empty list, or an empty array, rather, because that's just the last one. Okay, and then lastly, this also needs to have a comma after it, because that's how JSON works. Do you want this to say silence, or do you want this to say ... Probably hit to say ... Okay, the speaker is Aaron, text is silence. There's no flag, so the value stays false then. Not respondable. He responds then, alright, then keep your secrets. Alright then. Keep your secrets. There's no flag. That means the value continues to be false. There's no response. Okay, great. Now, all of this is the response to Baldrick initially saying something. Okay, tap that out once. So, this will be first message. First text. Well, actually, we'll write this in dialogue. Other attributes could be saved for details about how it's to be displayed or something like that. Sprites of the speakers, for example. Okay, so dialogue is going. Oh, this actually has to be double quotes because this is JSON. Okay, so the dialogue. This is going to be the responses. Let's get it from Baldrick here. He says, some sample dialogue. That's neat. Where we're from. No flag. No flag value. Respondable. True. Oh. True. Response options. Okay. This looks like JSON to me. I must say, this looks like it's going to be absolute dog water to to convert all of our dialogue into this JSON. I could probably build a Python tool to help with it, though. I can maybe do it in... Well, I don't know, actually. We'll see. Wow, my eyes itch so bad. I don't know why. Okay. Okay, so then we probably have, like... chat sprites, or whatever we call it. Let's, yeah, do chat sprites. And then we have an array of IDs, chat sprite IDs. We'll probably have dialogue ID. Okay, I mean, that's pretty much what we would have, right? Yeah, so... Oh, do I feel like implementing this right now? Okay. If this is what our JSON looks like, and I feel like this is a very reasonable thing to expect the JSON to look like. Just... we really just want to take this and basically we're just going to open up the dialogue. It's basically going to be a loop. We're going to display the name and sprite of the associated name. Oh, you know what? Actually, this would probably be... These would have to be like... sorry. There. Sprite is B. Okay, sorry. So this is just so we're going to go into any given dialogue. We're going to say, here's the speaker. Then we're going to be able to look up that speaker's name in our chat sprite IDs to find the appropriate ID for the sprite to display. Google Docs IDE, I know, it's pretty great, to be honest. It's actually Google Drawings, and I use it for, like, excuse me. Hello? Sorry. Oh goodness. I ruined everything. I use it to help me kind of visualize how functions or systems are supposed to work, and it doesn't look great, to be honest. It is cursed. We're not actually writing code here. We're writing code in Game Maker Studio. But we're just discussing how this is going to look and how we're going to store dialogue data. So this is we're just building out our an example of how the JSON is going to look, so we can figure out how the actual function is going to break down the JSON and use it. Don't get me started on how I'm gonna have to make a function or a Python script to like actually turn our scripts for the dialogue into an actual JSON, but I'm sure it will be fine. So we're going to, our function needs to look at the dialogue item, find the speaker to print the name of the speaker in the text box and the sprite of the speaker. Actually write out the text. If there are any flags to trip, do so. And then if there are responses we can pick, here are responses. And then repeat that down until we have something that has no response. And then we can back out of dialogue. And that works for me. That ought to work. Why do you need it as a JSON? Technically we don't, I guess, need it as a JSON. It just seems like the best way to move around large chunks of information and access the important bits. Navigating a JSON seems to me the best way to... Oh no. Navigating a JSON seems to me the best way to be able to get to certain, like, to access certain bits of information repeatedly while being able to, and by that I mean, like, if we're at this point in the dialogue where Aaron, by the way, is the protagonist. Aaron is saying this text here. I need to be able to now access the responses that the NPC says. So when Aaron says this, the NPC is going to say this. Okay, now the NPC said that. The protagonist needs to be able to have these options. To be able to answer this different stuff. And then after that, you know, we go in and do further things, whatever. Or, for example, if we are going to answer this option, you know, this is the text that the protagonist is gonna say, and then blah blah blah. Okay, then the NPC is gonna respond with this text, and then we're gonna trip this flag. All that kind of stuff. Purely internal, just pass an object. Well, the thing is, I don't know if we want to make it as heavy as passing. I don't know if we want an object to have all this stuff, because I don't know if I've had issues with like setting up objects to do stuff that you can just do with structs or JSON. That being said, it's not a bad idea. I could look into trying that out. It just seemed to me that doing it this way, being able to just have a write out a function that will spit a string is definitely heavier. What's going to be a I don't know if that's the case. That could be the case. I don't know. I'm not a professional by any means, so I just kind of do what works for me. We'd have to make a... oh, actually, well, hold on. It isn't actually going to be strings. I'm going to make a... Parsing is quite slow compared to a synonym
tree. You mean like a tree of... I don't know what you mean by ascending a tree. To be honest, though, this is just while like we're doing dialogue, it's not like it's gonna have to be doing this stuff multiple times every frame. Like it's gonna be moving through the JSON relatively slowly, so it's not actually. I'm not actually worried about the weight of like the processing power required to process or parse a tree or the JSON rather. Well, what do you mean by ascending a tree? I'm not familiar with that. Like I said, I'm a hobbyist, so I don't know what you mean by that. That being said, if traversing a tree is easier and I get it quickly, then great. But if not, going with what makes sense to me the most, I feel like is the pro. If it's me who's working on it. I assume you just mean like a dialogue tree. My only thing with a dialogue tree, if it's like... Do you mean just like nested arrays? The thing is, the only reason that like, I don't know about that is, assuming that's what you mean. Okay, yeah, my only thing about that is, we have to get this information on who's currently speaking, any flags that are being tripped by selecting certain dialogue options, as well as how many options to display, if any, all that kind of stuff. I don't see putting that into an array and then having to parse that JSON is any different than just parsing the big JSON. You know? So, assuming I'm following what you're describing, I don't know that the difference in I don't know that the difference in how we're parsing, I don't know that the difference in performance is worth it if we have to parse JSON anyway. That's all I mean. Or I'm not sure exactly what yours is. An array of self. Well, I mean that each individual bit of dialogue has these different bits. Like this bit of dialogue has Baldock as the speaker. Okay, so like this is what we were talking about. And this is like the dialogue options we have in our object. We have this array of self that you were mentioning. I assume you meant that's like all of your text options, which would signify the branching options, right? So like, maybe I imagine these also have their own. Like this is our tree, right? Okay, William. Like if this is what we're doing, then all this whole text tree then is stuck with these same options. Yeah, you're referring to struct this up. So what do you mean? Plus an array of self. I don't understand why we would have an array of self. Sure. I guess I'm just not seeing. Well, assuming this is even kind of correct, so I'm thinking it's not at this point, so forgive me if I'm speaking completely incorrectly here. But this is what I was imagining, more or less. And I see you're changing the text tree to be something. But the way this is reading to me is that all of the text options are stuck with the same other data, the same flags, the same speaker, the same font color, whatever, So I'm not really sure I understand what the point is in doing this, because we don't get to have each bit of text have its own data like this. It has macros, which, if I understand, are pretty similar. So you can just do. I turned those off actually. You can just do. You just do macros like this. So I have this set this way. So then, if I want to do, if the left stick is pointing right. That's indicating the first object in my array. I assume that's what you mean. Assuming I understand our neumes correctly. So that is macros. Not really. Okay, well, in that case, I don't know. People are mentioning them in forums from 4 years ago, but I'm not really sure. Some people are saying they're updated, some people are saying they work the same as they used to. Yeah, I'm not sure about enums. I guess I don't know. After very, very, very lightly skimming this, it looks like they're kind of the same thing as macro, so I don't really know what the difference is. So I don't know if I could tell you if this language has them or not. But also, I am not. Let's see. This is true. So this is what you have. I don't know why that did that like that. That's annoying, but okay. I'll probably read that there anyway, so it's probably fine. So this I don't know why they do this like that. You're right. I should add new lines. What do you mean add new lines? I'm assuming there's supposed to be the actual like text in here too, right? Somewhere. I imagine so. Oh, I see. Okay, so why is it doing this? Jeez, it's so annoying. It's trying to put the whole thing, the whole shape in here. That's what it's trying to do. Okay, so I guess I'm trying to figure out. Isn't that pretty much what we already have here? Hey Tara, how's it going, man? Aren't you at work right now? So, I mean, to be honest, this looks very similar to what I already have. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm dumb. You're suggesting I use this instead of writing it in JSON at all, right? Oh, you're off today. Nice. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see. Okay. Okay. So I see what you're saying. This is just like a. I mean, realistically, it pretty much runs the same way. And honestly, the function that actually reads all this data basically looks the exact same. It's just that. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. Well, my only thing then is figuring out which one is easier to build, like make a function that can write it out. And to me, it looks like the struct way is better. I think you're right about that. I just didn't understand. I actually didn't know that you could have structs more or less be. I don't know if this is the correct term in this context, but could be recursive. Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't even have to pass an object, or unless you're saying the struct is the object. Am I dumb? Okay, yeah. So that I guess was my bottleneck. I didn't realize that you could do that. Okay. Well, I appreciate you being patient with me and helping me out with that. I think that probably is going to be a much better way to go about doing this. I only expect JSON to be used when we're actually saving data, like saving save file information. Then, now when JSON uses a lot in mods for games, but okay about flow design. Yeah, I mean, JSON's used all over the place when you're storing stuff. Or sending stuff across the internet, assuming I understand that properly. For saving, yeah. I mean, it'll be much less nested when it's it'll be way less nested. Yeah, when it's just saved data, because it's gonna be a bunch of flags and some. I mean, there will be some nesting, obviously. Like it won't be like this. Like imagine this in a like 10 item long dialogue, you know. Yeah, you have to serialize it to be able to see. Yeah, right. Okay, so yeah, I really like this then. I really appreciate you helping explain this to me. So realistically, the way this is set up is more or less the same thing, except with the struct you don't have to I don't think you have to put quotes around the names, do you? I'm pretty sure you don't. Let us go look. Nope, you don't. Which is nice, because I hate double quotes so much. That's the one. Actually, I recently started learning about JSON, which of course is why I was excited to use it. But one thing I absolutely hate is the fact that you have to use double quotes. You can't use single quotes, because I prefer to use single quotes. I recently switched to that. You cannot tell that by this slightly old code that has a bunch of double quotes. But my newer stuff, projects that I'm working on, I found out it's better to not have to press shift. Okay, so let us go to... I guess we just want to make a folder, to be honest. I cannot spell. Holy crap. Dust. And then here we want to add a new... Okay, really what I want here is I want NPCs or objects of any sort to be able to create... I don't know, let me think about this. What I want is to be able to write the dialogue in the object itself. So like, I don't want to have to go to some script. No, that's not right. I do not want, I don't think, to have to write down in my dialogue option, right? I don't want to have to go, like, have my NPC. I don't want in that code to have to write out the whole struct. So I have two options. I can either do that, then it's easier to edit it there, but then if we have anything that wants to be reused, we can't. But we just have to manually copy paste it and change it. That's annoying. So what I kind of want to do is just make a script that just has a bunch of oh yeah, I know. I'm gonna make a function to actually construct the dialogue option, the dialogue system, with the struct pass in as a parameter. But what I mean is, I don't know that I want to have the like, I don't want to take this struct, right? I don't want this struct here with all of its everything filled out. I don't want to have to write that in this NPC's text, or the code on this NPC, right? Build a pattern. I'm about to describe what I was thinking of, and that may or may not be the same thing. You can let me know. I was just going to have another script here. Like, that's a bad script. Like, this one is just like, this script is just some global variables and a function related to them. This is, that's just a function, actually. So I was just going to make a script that was literally just basically a big list. Basically a global variable, actually, of like just an array. Well, that's so dumb. Not really, I guess. I don't know. That's stupid. Huh. What is supposed to do that? I was gonna say, like, basically a global array that has all the text in the game stored in it under IDs, and then I can just search it. Like that. Okay, if ID number. I'm probably not actually going to do this. I'm just writing this down so you can visualize what I'm talking about. Okay. So we have our So I just want to have a bunch of dialogue structs with everything you just mentioned, right? Like all. Oh, that doesn't make any sense, does it? Yeah. This will be fine, right? So I'd want just all this stuff. So the ID would be. This one will be 1, but you know, everything else is going to be in here. And then this has all the same stuff minus the ID, right? Yeah, so this is recursive, like we said. And then we just have a bunch of them with different IDs, right? So and then all we have to do is take this ID. What is this? Why is this like that? What broke? What now? I'm done. Okay. This is confession time. I don't understand the difference between a function and a method. The best thing I can, like, to my knowledge, the best that I can figure out the difference is that one of them is, like, it seems like one of them is, a function is, like, very flexible. What you can do with it, of course. It's, like, whatever. But I feel like methods are like objects performed specifically with their own variables. So I don't know. Maybe it does, like this function. This isn't a script, and I can call this from literally anything, and the game can call this script if it wants to. You know, assuming it has the parameters to pass, obviously. But like, if I go to my, you know, like I have. Here's an object, right? This object has a function that only it can do. So I don't know if that's what you mean. I don't think that's what you mean. I'm pretty confident it's not actually. but it has those. So yeah, I don't think that actually answered your question, to be honest. So anyways, this is like, if I take this and I just use these IDs, when I go and need to like call this dialogue, you know, whatever it is, I can just say, okay, I want to construct a, you know, my dialogue manager object, and I'm going to pass in global dialogue structs with, you know, whatever one is ID1, right? Like that's how I would want to do it. Like you could have whatever. Yeah, that, I don't think that syntax is how it works. If that is how it works, would it be would it still be written as a function on the type of object that is doing the thing? If that's the case, actually I might be high. That might be exactly what happens, to be honest. No, I do that to get stuff. I can get, oh yeah, like this. Yeah, there's methods. I've used them. Yeah, so like active combatant .list text. The active combatant is going to be a combatant object, and it has a function somewhere. Oh wait, hold on. I could be wrong. I might be wrong here. Before you count your chickens, I think I might have lied to you. List attacks. It would be here in the combatant object. List attacks. But it's not. Wait, maybe I just have them inherited. Okay, that's not it. Yeah, list attacks. No, I don't even know. Okay, hold on. How do I? There's a keybind for searching everything. Control F at everything. Oh, Control Shift F. Control Shift F. Okay, well that was poor organizational skills on my part. I couldn't find that, but we have that now. Here we go, list attacks. Okay, yeah, so that works. Sorry for the confusion. I just did not organize that well at all. Okay, yeah, so we can do the, I was listening to League of Legends. They have a, Riot Games has a huge playlist of creator-friendly music they'll let you use. And it was great, but it's a little epic for the vibes. So, okay, builder pattern. Let us. Build a pattern to design a pattern to design to provide a specific object creation problem for object programming. Well, that sounds like what we need. Okay, I don't know why. Okay, let's just builders. Okay, I thought looking at this would explain it to me, and it didn't. Okay, that was dumb. Check the object construction code out of its own class and introduce it. That makes sense. Oh, is the builder just supposed to be like a very general purpose constructor? Is that what it is? Well, I appreciate the help. Also, I would have pronounced your account name at some point. I just don't know how I'm supposed to pronounce it. So, that's why. I'm curious as to your thoughts in storing everything in one global variable block. I don't want to store anything in a global, like all the dialogue in a global variable, obviously, because that would just all be in memory, and that sounds like a terrible waste of resources. But like we could just store all the game text somewhere in structs. I can re-add some new lines as long as it's not, as long as it's like a struct. But if it's like a whole class, then I don't know. I don't know if I could manage it. Okay, well, I imagine we're going to need a new object to build our dialogue manager. I will say, before you get too far into that, in the event that this makes that not necessary, you have these variables that you can have built into this, into a variable or into an object, and then when you create the object, you can just create it out of a struct full of variables. And it'll automatically set them all for you. I don't know if it's actually good, because one of the structs, or one of the variables in question, is another struct full of stuff, and that's also like the only variable. Again, I'm not fully sure what this builder pattern is, but once I see it, I will know. I thought they were really quick. I don't know how this works though too, but I guess it's true. So I would have to write default. Oh wait. Sorry, yeah, that would absolutely be impossible to read on stream. Thank you. Okay, so this is our dialogue itself would be a class. And then I would set. Hold on, wait, no, I think I could do this up again. I'm not sure where, like, this is obviously an example of how I fill it out, right? So, is this just... I don't know where I get this default code at. So this default code, option.default. Where are you saying this would be the default? Like that. I'm sure that's not what you mean. Also, I'm assuming you're not saying this is... Are we writing this, or is this just the example that we wrote earlier? No. Okay. I should also just move this off to the side a little bit because my camera's in the way otherwise. Oh goodness. Default return empty option. Okay, which would just be... You mean each... Okay, that would... So you mean that it would just return a struct with literally nothing in it? And dot flag sets the flag getter, passes the option along. So, like, does that mean I'm gonna move all this over here so I can actually do something with it? I'm guessing I would just write that here in the dialog manager. I guess I'm not even sure. I don't even know where I'm writing this code at. Like, I don't know. Option would append another option to the options field. Right. That makes sense. So is this like I'm wanting to put this in the class, like in the dialog manager class, or am I wanting to put this elsewhere because I'm appending it to the dialog manager? The dialog manager is what needs to know, or is what? No, I'm sorry, not dialog manager. The dialog itself. The manager is going to be creating the dialog, or it's going to be displaying it and managing it. So what I really need is another object that is like the dialog itself. I've misspelled dialogue a million times today. Dialogue. So it'd be like dialogue data, I guess. Right. Yeah. I understand it's pseudocode. I'm just trying to figure out, like, wrap my head around, like, it's like the dialog manager is going to be needing the struct with the data, like the actual dialog when it's done. But the way to construct it would go here, I guess. So this is an option. Assuming I'm understanding this correctly, I think we can just do the same thing when, like, if we just have all of these things, like we have our golly. So our flag is name and value. And then our how does it make this inside? Yeah, it is your shirt. Get over it. By fields, you mean like flag. Oh, I did not mean to click Spotify. By fields, you mean like flag and speaker and text, I assume. Which I don't think it does that. But if I set up this class to have a flag and a speaker and text. Actually, I don't even have to write that here. Because what I can do is I can add variable definitions. I can say I want to have text that is going to be a string with no default. I want to add a speaker that is also a string, nothing, no default. I want to add a flag. Flag that is, well, this couldn't be, I guess I can't have this, I can't have that be a struct, which is really annoying. Wait, is expression any code expression? I think that could be a struct. I'm not 100% sure that's actually true. And then we want our asset would be as well. And then maybe that's an expression that I don't actually know. The shirt looks comfy, okay? Well, yeah, that's fair. I'm not even trying to exactly write the code. I'm trying to figure out, like, you know, well, I guess you can say the general shape of it, or how the pieces are supposed to fit together on a, you know, bird's eye view. So I feel like I want, I guess if the duck doesn't have to be there. So yeah, these are all here, and then what I could do is elsewhere, for example, in random NPC code, pretend this is random NPC's code. I could say when click on me. I know this is not at all how this works, trust me. Those are just like coordinates and a depth to actually create the object. Then we would just create the object. We create the dialog options object, and then we can just pass a struct with everything in it, right? And then here, I feel like is where we would just say, I know I would set this up differently, but I would just say global dialog structs we do it. It's the one that has an ID of 1. Right? I know this is not how that works. This is the one with index 1. I understand that. But we would pass in, you know, and then this would create the dialog. Shit. Is that even what we want, though? No, what we want is to create the dialog manager. Okay, so really what we want is we want to make a dialog manager. And then the struct is not actually, we're not going to pass in a struct, we're going to basically call the function that I don't know if we actually need a dialog options object then. Does this language handle structs like hash tables? That I do not know. Here, let me show you what I do with structs normally, and then maybe it's done. This is what I've been doing with structs recently, is using them to store about all the stuff about my combat attacks. So we have, I mean, this probably looks like a pretty standard struct to you, because I'm pretty sure it's a pretty standard looking struct. You can also have structs that have structs that have functions in them, which I think is normal. That seems normal to me. But then when we actually want to do something with these structs, we can just call okay, so like the action is one of those structs, so this would be the action in this context. So I would say, okay, do the action basically. So you can access information from this. Oh no. You can access these just by elsewhere being, having the struct dot. So if I just wanted to know what one of these values is, I would just do stat dot frequency. And I can get it. It is very funky indeed. Okay. Well, I think this is a struct. Yeah, it says right there it's a struct. So I don't know. This is my first exposure to structs, so I assume this is very normal. But I'm actually starting to think we don't need a dialog options object. What we need is, we just need a function that takes I guess we just need a function that all we have to do is create the dialog manager and pass in the struct that has already been created. Yeah, the struct will just have to have already been created ahead of time. We don't need to we don't need to construct the struct. And if we do need to construct the struct, we'll be constructing non-standard. Okay. Well, I guess that is something I'll have to figure out when I need to learn normal structs in C or Rust or whatever. I mostly do Python because it's what's handy, but I've heard Rust is great. But as far as this, I don't think constructing the structs can just be done far before So anyone needs to be accessing it and just have it stored. I theoretically could construct these structs. Yeah, I guess so. Fair enough. So I don't know how useful this is going to be then, right now, until we're actually deconstructing our structs. Realistically, I basically have this one, the example one, built. I just would remove a couple of these things. This, like I said, this is pretty much already JSON, minus the fact that it is literally JSON, and should theoretically parse easier. But yeah, okay. I guess for the time being, I just want to have this as a struct without actually worrying right now about building it, or like building the way to build them. Okay, this is just a test dialog structure. Okay, so how are we going to going back to here to make this legible, hopefully. Excuse me, I don't think I have my mute button working. So I apologize for that. So I just want to test this out, basically. I want to just get this into the form that we'll actually need it, and then worry about actually building the struct constructor later. Wait a minute, no, this isn't actually shaped up. This. Wait a minute, that isn't making sense. Stuff here. Let's break it down and figure out what goes where. Okay, so first of all, this needs to go here. actually going to be extremely boring, which is a little unfortunate. Good music when? I don't know. It's pretty chill. These. That doesn't make any sense either, to be honest. This should also be indented. Oh, oh my. It's no comma. Of course.
had to go before the answer? I don't know what I answered. I assume it was to your question what good music was. I just like to chill. The other music was too intense. Well, I'm sorry that I found a better chill option than I had. If you have another option that is stream safe, that is not going to cost me extra, I will happily hear it. Anything chill works for me. Like I said, I was listening to some League of Legends stuff earlier, but that was a little too epic. So I'm liking these
more chill, less high energy stuff. Is it supposed to be a space here? Sense. So that isn't even an array, is it? Space slug. Let's see. I see nothing here indicating that it is stream safe. Unfortunately. So I think I'm going to leave it then. I do not want my stream to get muted. That seems unfun. I still would rather not have part of my VOD muted though. This very boringness. Good. Did people watch that? I don't think so quite yet. But I kind of just got started, so hard to say for sure. So why not what? Why not go play it? Because I don't want the audio to get muted in the event that I decide to go put the VOD up on my YouTube or something. You, however, are welcome to go open your Spotify and listen to it. You did not realize my mic was low. Hopefully that's a little better. Actually, also put this down a little bit. That better? I hope. Might have changed the gain a little bit actually. Okay, I hope that's not too loud. That might be better. Thanks for the heads up. Okay, so this needs to say
This one is rest. So good. Okay. Do this. 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 Do that. That. Put a comma there. Okay, last one here. Okay.
can't be right. I just added an extra thing for fun. Oh. I forgot to put this here. Oh, there we go. Thank you. I appreciate the help. You have a good day and good whatever else you have. These ones are not lined up just right, are they? Okay, so that's basically what it would look like. This is our dialogue struct. It's a little oddly shapen, but that's pretty much how it works. That's the response options for that. Okay. So yeah, that was a bunch. I know that was kind of boring, but for testing reasons, you gotta do what you gotta do, you know? Alright, so here's some example dialogue. Okay, so now we have our dialogue struct. We would need to perhaps build a better way to construct it. To be honest, though, I personally don't see a better way to construct. Like, I don't know if there's going to be a function that helps us construct these, you know, or if it's just going to be someone gets to spend a lot of time manually manually creating these dialogue structs. Oh, I want this to be. This one will be. Combat Aaron. It balled up. We'll let it be Roy. Oh, wait, no. We want sprites, I'm sorry, not objects. Sprite. Test Roy. And then we want this one to be sprite. Test. What is that test? Aaron? Where is it? Smiley. Okay. So that's what it would be. Okay. Golly. I think the plan is going to be what is my plan going to be? I'm going to have to figure out how to store these structs actually, which is really annoying. Like, I don't want to store this in memory, you know? Like, store all the game's dialogue in memory? I don't think so. That seems silly. Very, very silly. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like the idea of doing that. What am I doing here? Okay. I think we just, I mean, basically what this is gonna do is the way the dialogues and branching dialogue is going to work is we're going to say, okay, first, like, we're going to pass this entire structure to the dialogue manager. Dialogue manager is going to look at the dialogue. It's going to say, okay, who's talking? I'm going to be going to read out this text. If a flag trips, great. We'll handle a flag tripping. This bug in here is really annoying. If it is respondable, going to list the response option displays. And then based on selection, we will read them out. And okay, based on display, actually, we go back into this loop. Well, first we list them out by their option display, and then once one is selected, we'll pick that option and run that as the tag and go from there. That honestly seems, the pseudocode version anyways, relatively straightforward. So let me write that in here, because I think I'm getting about done for today. Okay. This is still in Firetail. Where is this? I want that in here. I'm gonna figure that out. Anyhow, this needs to be. I'm working on the dialogue. Loop roll. And then again. This wants to say
So you want to display dialog step dot speaker dot get spreads. Okay. Have myself a plan for next stream, which will be tomorrow. I have myself a yeah, I guess I will do that. Thank you guys for vibing with me today. I know that this one was a bit boring. There wasn't that much in the way of writing code, and was a lot more in the way of planning to write code. But we have a better plan for how we're going to be doing the code, which is great. In theory. And yeah, we'll be working more on this tomorrow. See you guys around.